To Real Talk with Real Estate Pros, where we bring you exclusive interviews with the real estate experts. We'll delve deep into their journey to success and learn how to go the extra mile to serve their clients' wants and needs. Let's dive in. Here's your host, John Money McKinley.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Real Talk with Real Estate Pros. Want to thank everyone for being here today, and I wanted to start this new year off in a little different way. We're going to be diving into a conversation today that's both inspiring and relevant no matter what field you're in. Today we'll be joined by Dwayne Morton. He's an inspirational speaker and mental performance coach. He specializes in helping athletes build resilience and achieve peak performance. Dwayne's life story is a testimonial to strength and perseverance. As a former international basketball player, he's faced extraordinary challenges, including being misdiagnosed with a rare blood cancer for 18 years and finally discovering the correct diagnosis just this past March. Additionally, 2.5 years ago, he survived being caught in the crossfire of a police shooting as a bystander. Through it all, Dwayne has maintained his faith, integrity, and authenticity, and he's now using his experience to empower others to overcome obstacles and thrive. Today, we're going to explore the mental toughness that's needed to navigate life's challenges, from athletic performance to the home buying journey, and even the mental resilience that I know you realtors need to guide your clients successfully through their home purchasing needs. So with that said, I'd like to get started here and introduce you all to Dwayne. Dwayne, welcome to the show this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you, John, for giving me this platform and giving me your time. And same thing with your listeners. Thanks for giving your time. And I'm looking forward to sharing a few stories with you guys.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, after I was introduced to you and you and I chatted and got to know a little bit more about you, and just to give full disclosure here, my son played basketball when he was in school. And like yourself, he was also a shooting guard. So you piqued my interest with that, Dwayne.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I actually didn't start out as a shooting guard. I actually was taller than most of the kids, so I was actually a big for most of the time, and then I stopped growing, so I had to actually move positions. So yeah, it was a really great conversation, and just sometimes we meet people, and then those relationships and connections lead on to something greater, and I believe that's what we have here.
No, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I am very glad to have you on the show today, and really want to share with some things with people. Because we're going into a new year, okay? We're going into 2025, and I know it's been a crazy, wild ride for the past 4 years, going on 5 years now, with all of the wonderful things that have been happening with the pandemic, or whatever you prefer to call it, that we just went through. And of course, in my opinion, one of the most controversial election cycles ever. We're finally through all of this stuff now, and really want to be able to offer something to folks that hopefully you could share with us to really show them a way to keep their mind in the right mental mind state and move forward with their lives.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think that through my story, it'll show the resiliency that these real estate agents need to have, and the type of economy that we've just witnessed through the pandemic. I know that I have friends who are realtors, and I know that some of them thrived and some of them really struggled. And so I hope that I can inspire you all to just find that inner part of yourself. And I'm going to give you a couple of tools that I use to do that. And so I'm really looking forward to having this conversation and sharing more with your listeners.
Well, I'd like to start out with, can you just kind of share with us briefly your journey from going from an international basketball player to moving into the inspirational speaker and mental performance coach. And I can say this coming from being there with my son when he was playing ball. In my opinion, 95% of the game is between your ears. I mean, you have to be in shape, but it's what's between your ears. Am I right or wrong?
No, it's absolutely correct. Especially if you want to go up past the level of high school. That's really the key. If you want to get to the level of past high school, you have to have something else. You have to be working on your mind. You have to be working on your mind just like it would be anything else that like if I was going to go work on my legs at the gym, it might not be my favorite thing to do, but that's what I need to do. And what you'll find out is that, so I use visualization and I did not even know what I was doing. And so just to kind of give you my path, I did not play my last 2 years of high school. And somehow I was given an opportunity to go play basketball overseas. That's not normal. That's not typical. And so I used visualization the same way that I learned how to be an elite typer until I injured my hand. So when I was a kid, I would visualize the keyboard and I'd visualize whenever I saw words, I would visualize typing those words. Same thing, I would use my hands. So I would visually type the words. It's really cool, but I didn't understand the power of how that was giving me confidence and experience. And so that made me level up a lot quicker.
It is extraordinary considering you didn't play your junior and senior year ball in high school. And just so everybody knows, if you're not familiar with basketball, especially international ball, basketball is a very big sport around the world. And it's not an easy thing to just get picked up in that field, just as if just like when you're going to a D1 college, that's not something easy to get picked up in, and you're competing with athletes around the world. That's quite a story there.
So John, also part of it too was I was extremely fortunate because the globalization of basketball happened in '92. So everybody was extremely hungry for American basketball because of the Dream Team. My journey was in '96. And so I actually was able to use that, or I hate the word use. So I utilized that to get me to where I wanted and to give me opportunity and to get signed by an agent to actually look at, these other opportunities. But just to let you know, I talk about my faith a ton here. I was on a mission trip, and it was a selected mission trip with elite athletes, in my opinion. And so from really big schools. And if you would have told me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have thought that was not possible, honestly.
Now, I would like to, to go from starting out, not playing ball the last 2 years of high school, becoming an international basketball player, and then you came up with a health issue with a misdiagnosis of cancer, and then to get in the middle of a crossfire of a police shooting. That's quite an interesting thing that happened in your life there.
Yeah, so I'll say I'm a tier 1. I don't think there's other people who have had my path. So if anyone else has ever had this, I'm writing the blueprint, you can follow it. But there's a part of the journey of me playing basketball, I learned my foundation of gratitude. And I want that to be really clear. There was a circumstance where I met a 5-year-old who was struggling. I didn't know the aspect of his struggle, but he was looking for food. And then we found out that this kid had not eaten in 3 days. And so I learned an extremely valuable piece, and is my foundation of gratitude. And so throughout these other 2 circumstances, I always looked at it that other people were going through worse. So a lot of people's mindset is that I can't handle this. I can't handle this, right? I'm not a person that uses the word can't, unless it's coming from people that I'm paraphrasing from. The other aspect is what most people don't understand is we are probably living a dream life for a lot of people. Like they dream to be where we're at. And so I use that mindset, and I use the aspect of gratitude, and I always had that foundation to bounce off of. So every time that like I would go through a circumstance, and I'm not saying these circumstances weren't challenging because they absolutely were. But I always was like, well, other people have it worse. So I just wanted to push on. And so I just wanted to kind of share that. I feel like that is one of the most important steps for me was that I had this foundation that I believe other people do not have.
It's a great thing, and I really like you talking about the gratitude. And I've been in the world of mortgages, gosh, since 1999 to be exact. So, been doing this for a few years, and actually been in the world of real estate since the mid 90s. And the people that I was learning from, even when I was struggling and trying to make it and make things go, they're like, you have to remember to be grateful for what you have, because if you can't be grateful for the little things you have now, how are you going to be grateful when you get the big things and the dreams that you're going after?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for your journey from 99 to probably before the crash in 2008, you probably were doing pretty well. And then when that happened, that was when you had to fight against resistance, correct? So for me, also, just to give your listeners an opportunity to know a little bit more about me, is that in 2016, I've passed my mortgage license. So I've been a loan originator for a year. A really good friend of mine gave me an opportunity. Unfortunately for me, is my health was still at a really big struggle, and I actually, I want to make sure that I really explain the struggle because there was struggles. Even my mindset, I was having issues and having challenges. What happened is when I found out I was misdiagnosed, I had always kind of made some type of movement every day. And I believe that movement was able to give me some type of momentum. And so when I found out that I was misdiagnosed, John, it was like a wind up toy. And if you ever winded up a toy and you just held it and you just kept holding it, that was kind of how it was for me. It was like I'd had all these really great opportunities. I had all these really great connections, but I wasn't able to really utilize and do those things to my fullest. And so that's what I want to share is that we do not ever know when those opportunities are going to arise. Our job is to be ready for them.
I appreciate that. That's true. You always have to be on the lookout for opportunities, even when you're in the middle of struggling with things and you have challenges happening in your life. If you can't be looking for the lessons you can learn from it, that can put you in a very bad place. I mean, you know this, and some of my listeners, I would think, know this as well. Sometimes when you're at some of the worst spots in your life, you wake up 5 years later, 10 years later, and go, man, I'm so grateful that happened. And I learned the lessons from it because it allowed me to better myself, better my family's life, and move me to a much better place. And that's very important to keep your mind focused, always looking for opportunities.
Right. So what I would tell your listeners is it was a very unfortunate thing for me to be misdiagnosed for 18 years. I learned some very valuable life lessons that if I could go back, it would be a really big struggle for me to say I would, because I learned so much. I met a lot of really great people that helped support me. But also, I look at these two obstacles that I've had, and honestly, these two things are miracles. And that's the other thing is like to be misdiagnosed is one miracle. The police shooting, I'll explain that, and that's that is an absolute miracle in its own. But I want to explain. If I went back, I wouldn't be here. So this was the path to get me to here. I would have probably spent all those 18 years and I probably would be short to where I am now. So I tell people all the time, I do not see this happen to me anymore. And now this has only been a shift a couple of months ago. So I want your listeners to understand, like, this is not something that's just going to come to you overnight. It's not. You have to actually do the work. I actually looked at it for 2 months ago as it happened for me because it got me to that echelon, that part of the mountain. But where it really changed for me is about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago. These things are happening through me. So all of these things are happening through me so I can serve. So I can facilitate to help other people's life. And so that's the reason I built my program, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But like that's the thing is like all these things happen through me so I could serve other people. That's my purpose.
I appreciate that, and that's something that's very, very key. And what I've found just from my industry and with the real estate agents that I've worked with in the past, the ones that survived the last great mortgage meltdown and the mortgage meltdown before that, because we've had several we've gone through in the time that I've been in this business, is the ones that survive and the ones that are successful are doing it. Yes, we're doing this business to make a living. Nobody's going to deny that, but we're doing it because we care about people, and we truly want to give them the ability to share the American dream of homeownership, and that's where I come from my heart is I want to share that opportunity with people. I want to help people, and the realtors that I love to work with have the same attitude and have the same mental mindset. And it's very reassuring to hear someone like yourself, Dwayne, share that same philosophy with me as well, which shows me that you're going to be very successful in what you're doing and helping people because you're coming from the mindset of, hey, I want to help people. I want people to have a better life and be able to overcome the obstacles I faced in my life a little faster. Still going to have to go through some of the pain because that's just life. Unfortunately, in what we call the earth realm, whatever you want to call this place we live in.
Right. Yeah. So if you're in a place of just serving, everything's so much better. Like it's okay to receive. You're supposed to receive. It's reciprocal, right? It's a circle. And so the home ownership dream is such a big dream for so many people. And so I have really great friends who are successful real estate agents, and they do a great service for people. So I don't see it as sales. That's what I was going to say is like, if you're looking at it and saying, I'm in sales, you're a real estate agent and you're like, I'm in sales. You're not in sales. Like take that mindset. Let's wad that up in a piece of with a piece of paper and let's throw it in a trash can like we would as kids. Cause like it's a trash mindset. What you need to do is take that piece of paper and realize like, how can I serve people better? And if you start challenging yourself that way, we're going to have better real estate agents. We're going to have a better community. And most importantly, for the individual, you're going to have a more successful business. You're going to have a more successful economy. So that's all. That's what it's all about, you know?
Oh, that's great. And to share something with you, I had a meeting with a client this morning, and they're working through the home buying process, and I'm working with their real estate agent as well. And they really think they found a great home. And I was looking at it with them, and we were kind of taking a look, and I was like, wow, this is a great home here. And she's like, yes, this has everything we need, and it's got the character because it's not a new home, it's a little bit older home, but it has the character and depth. And we were going through everything, and we're talking about numbers and running over scenarios, and I shared something with her on how mortgages work. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to share with you there's something that a lot of folks don't understand is about how mortgages, the interest accrues in arrears. And I'll save that for another show. But I shared that with her, and her eyes got really big, and she's like, wow. And I said, it's okay. You don't know that. I didn't know it when I was young and your age either. So don't feel bad. But I'm going to take the time after you and your husband close on this loan. You can send me a copy of the first page of your amortization chart, and I'll bring you into my office, just like I've done before, virtually, sit down with you and go deep into detail on this and show you how you can destroy a 30-year mortgage by just knowing that strategy. And I'll show you how to properly prepay to where you can take a 30-year mortgage and easily eliminate it in 15 years or less. And she was fascinated by it.
Yes. I mean, so it's just like where some people are not familiar with making the first payment to principal only.
Yep.
They don't know. I mean, and so that's where a community of mortgage brokers and real estate agents that really care about the community to educate and give things like this to like those lucky future homeowners. Like that's part of the American dream. And I think a lot of people, like, they kind of disrespect the whole reason for the American dream. The American dream was really there to give people like a trajectory. Like, hey, you can achieve this. So I think, as different things have happened, different consequences of bad principles, the American dream has been unfairly criticized. I'll put it that way.
No, I agree, and it's good to see, because we're in the process of going through, as I call it, another real estate / mortgage originator shakedown again, which is fine, because when we had the great mortgage meltdown of 08, mortgage, it got rid of a lot of the shakedown again, which is fine, because when we had the great mortgage meltdown of 08, mortgage, it got rid of a lot of the shakedown again.
So
I
mean,
because
one of the things is
being great mortgage meltdown of 08, mortgage, got rid of a lot of the shakedown again.
So I mean,
because
one of the things is
being great mortgage meltdown of 08, mortgage, got rid of a lot of the shakedown.
So I mean, one of the things
being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown.
So I mean, one of the things is
being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown.
So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I mean, one of the things is being great mortgage meltdown of 08, got rid of a lot of the shakedown. So I always talk about this. Really, what most people don't talk about as a word. I always talk about this. Really, for me, people don't talk about me. The government. A lot of people really, for me, people don't talk about the first thing. The government. Find you a mentor. A lot of people. If you don't find a mentor first, get a plan and then find a mentor. Right? Find you a mentor. So when you do those steps, you have to prepare for the game. There's a part of the game where coaches come in and they tell you that you have to play with the run and vice versa. There's a part of the game where coaches come in and they tell you that you have to play with the They usually do is they allow the players to get set by themselves to get mentally prepared. They usually do is when you're going through any type of process, especially something that's like a home buying. When you're going through any type of process, you're showing a house, you've got to take your time. Home buying. You gotta be calm. And so what I like to do is just like take some deep breaths. Control your breath. Be calm. Control your breath. Control your heart. What I like to do is just do that. That's taking you that one. Control your breath. Be calm. Control your breath. Control your heart. I like to do that. That's taking you that one. Control your breath. Let me ask you this as well too. Control your breath. I like to do that. That's taking you that one. Let me ask you this as well. Can you share with us a story of someone you've worked with, and something that you don't have to give us any names, but share with us a story about
share with us a little detail about your challenge, or even if it's one of your personal question. Share with us a little detail about it.
I'm working with a lot of different athletes. Just got into basketball, football. I'm working with a lot of different. Just got into hockey. Do not know the sport of hockey. Do not really know the sport of wrestling. So what I can do is I can do not know the sport of ideas. Do not really find out more and more about the sport, and then I can utilize that to what I can do is I can individualize ideas. So I have out more and more about the one sport, kid, and then I can utilize exceptional athlete, exceptional athlete. And he told me, so I have out more and more about. I want to get, and then I can utilize to where I want to play up in the NBA. Exceptional athlete. I want to play at an elite. He told me, so I have out more and more about. I want to get, and then I can utilize where I worked on his mindset. He is way more open to learning the game of basketball. I want to get. So this is a kid who has always been told, hey, he is way more open. You're the lead of the learning the game of basketball. My first game was, hey, this is a kid who has always been. Tell me a little bit about your knowledge of basketball. He's like, I know it all. You're the lead of the Michael Jordan game of basketball. My first game was, hey, this is a kid. So we took that. Tell me a little bit about your knowledge of basketball. And I know it was a gut punch for that kid. Michael Jordan game of basketball. What it did was it allowed me to see that he was a guy. Showed me that he was a coach. I know it was a gut punch for that kid. And then when I choose a game of basketball, what it did was it allowed me to see that he did the work. That showed me that he was a guy. Next year he's gonna be one of the top. And when I choose a game of basketball, what it did was players. It allowed me to see that he did the work. Actively working. That showed me that he was a guy.
Nice, and I really appreciate you sharing that. It's bad when somebody is told that they're nothing, they can't do anything, they can't share that. But it's almost bad, if not worse, when they're told you're the best of the best. Because like he explained to you, nothing, you can't do anything, you can't know you're sharing that. But if you don't know, if not worse, when they're told you're the best of the best.
Also,
explained to you,
his mentor was they're not qualified to give him his advice. They're not to get some early qualified to give him I think that's really important. So sometimes not all the time, but they're willing to listen if they know important is for them So I'm not a big accomplishment person. Not all the time. I don't have a bunch of trophies behind me. Honestly, I didn't accumulate a bunch of trophies when I was not all the time. Because I didn't have the correct minds behind me. I didn't have I didn't know how to utilize talent. Didn't accumulate a bunch of trophies when I was extremely important. I didn't have the correct minds behind me. I had goals. I still had a plan, talent. And there was times where, man, I didn't even know if I didn't even believe it. But I just knew that I needed to be ready. I still had something in my gut, my intuition, God, I didn't even believe it. But he told me to be prepared. You will get an something in my gut, my intuition set upon myself, God, I didn't even believe it. And I got ready for an opportunity. He told me to be prepared. It was a fight for me. And so think of all the time, John, that you talk to people, and I got ready for an opportunity. They want to be a really good team. It was a fight for me. But they decided, hey, I don't want to be a good enough. I don't want to be a senior enough to actually go and play at the local ball or the hockey practice. I know you said this, right? If you're not showing up, I don't want to goes into my program to actually go and play. But if you're not showing up, that's when if you're not showing up, I don't want to goes into people that come to me. It's like I don't teach you to show up. You teach to show up to me. That's when show up. If you're not showing up, we show up to the people that come to attention. Like I don't teach you to show up. You teach to show up. If that is not your mindset, I'm not that coach. We show up. I only work with the people who want to do more than that. Is not your mindset. I'm not a minimum person. There's parts of my life where I wasn't work with people, but that's not now. I only want to work minimum person. I only want to work parts of my life where I wasn't of like, hey, I know that's not now. I'll put it this way. When I had my knee surgery, they told me to do 50 leg raises. I only want to work parts of my life. I did 100 of like, hey, I know that's not now. I'll put it this way. I don't do mental. Like, there is no reason to do mental. Minimum is not for I did 100 caliber people that I'm like, hey, I know that's not now.
never going to get to the
I don't do dental. There is no
Dwayne, I really appreciate you being on the show today, and we're coming to the top of the hour here. My producer's in my ear going, "Hey, John, we're Dwayne, I really get ready to wrap things up. What I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up, I know you're just talking about your show up to win. I'd like to share this with my audience here, and this is where they can go to be able to put in their name, their email information, their phone number for them to be able to have you reach out to them, correct, and have a consultation.
So, this is not for the consultation, it's just so I have their information. So when I launch my program, showupforwin.com, they'll be notified. So, this is not for the consultation. Put your phone number, I have their information. So when I launch my program, give you a call and say, "Hey, I noticed you're in the queue, you gave us your information, how can I help you for the program?" So John, I noticed you're, real quickly, I created the community because I was looking for it, how can I help you? And it wasn't there. So I decided to create it. But I also created a community to keep me consistent because I was looking for it, how can I help you? And so that's the reason why I show up. So I decided to create it.
Now, when are you planning on launching live?
Within the next week. I just had things that I just wanted to tweak. So I'm not. It's not going to be perfect when it gets released. I'll go ahead and tell you. I just had things that I believe in. So I'm not. There was a couple of things. A little troubleshooting things that were going on that I just did not like. So we're changing them. So I would say possibly in the next week. So the target date was to make sure that this thing is live. I just did not like. So we're changing.
That's great. And then of course, folks can also go to find you
target
on
date
Facebook. You go to your Facebook page, Dwayne Morton, correct? That's great. And then of course, folks can also go
DWAY and target date
Morton or Dwayne Morton, correct? Perfect. And here's just, I'm on your page right now. It's showing folks they can come on there. I'd recommend if they're interested, send a friend request. Perfect. And we'll make friends with you on here, and we'll get you connected. I'd recommend if they're interested, launches send a friend request. February 1st, you'll be friends with you on here. Well, Dwayne, I really appreciate you being here today. And one last thing that you'd like to share with the audience. Really appreciate I put you back in the game. And one last thing.
So what I would like to
share with the audience. Really appreciate I put you back in the game.
You're always choosing. So what I would like to share with the audience. Really appreciate choosing not your or you're choosing not. You're always choosing. What I would like to say is that is really choosing not your chair. You're in your position because you've chosen to be in that position. What I would like to say, and I'm not saying the circumstances are not your chair. What I'm saying is your position because you have the choice chosen to leave out of that position. And I'm not saying the circumstances to leave or quit are not your choice.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you being here today very much, Dwayne, and I'd love to stay in contact with you as well, and then hopefully we can follow up with you maybe as we get into the fall time of year, and you can share with us some of your success stories that you've had over the past year. Hopefully we can follow up with you, share with us into the fall time of year, and you can share with us some of your
sounds great. Looking forward to it already. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks a lot for your listeners. You all have a great day or night, and listen to us.
Thank you. Alrighty. Well, with that said, thank you all for being here to another edition of Real Talk with Real Estate Pros. Really appreciate you being here. Do me a favor. We're really trying to grow this place as a place where I can keep bringing you all some really great pros. We're here to share with you things that can really help you really try to get your lives moving in a good direction, especially in the world of real estate and mortgage finances. I've got a lot of guests on speaking with me. I'm hopefully going to be able to get them on the show here very, very soon. And as always, my direct got a lot of guests there above me. If you know somebody you think would be a great guest for my show, please. And as always, their name and contact record, I will reach out to them and hopefully have them on the show. With that said, please like, subscribe, and share all that good YouTube stuff. Thank you guys. Have a great out to them and hopefully have them on the show. With that said, please like, subscribe, and share all that good YouTube stuff. Thank you guys. Have a great out to them. Hopefully have them on the show. With that said, please like, subscribe,